Donald John Trump, born 1946, is an American billionaire, businessman, and politician. He served as the 45th President of the United States from 2017 to 2021. He was re-elected in the 2024 United States presidential election and became the 47th President of the United States. Trump was born and raised in Queens, a borough of New York City, attended Fordham University for 2 years, and received a bachelor's degree in economics from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. He became president of his father's real estate company in 1971, later renaming the company the Trump Organization and expanding operations from Queens and Brooklyn to Manhattan. The company specializes in building and renovating skyscrapers, hotels, casinos, and golf courses. Trump later started various side projects, mainly licensing his name. He acquired ownership of 3 beauty pageants, Miss Universe, Miss USA, and Miss Teen USA, in 1996, and sold them in 2015. He entered the 2016 presidential race as a Republican and won a surprise victory over Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. Although he lost the popular vote, he became the oldest first-term US president and the first without previous military or government positions. His election and policies sparked widespread protests. Trump has made numerous false or misleading statements during his campaign and presidency. The statements have been debunked by fact-checkers, and the media has widely characterized the phenomenon as unprecedented in American politics. Many of Trump's comments and actions have been described as racially or racially charged. During his presidency, Trump issued a travel ban on citizens from several Muslim-majority countries, citing security concerns. After legal challenges, the Supreme Court upheld the Third Amendment version of the policy. He imposed import tariffs that sparked a trade war with China, withdrew US troops from northern Syria, and met 3 times for peace talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, but denuclearization talks collapsed in 2019. Trump also recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital and brokered the Israel-United Arab Emirates peace accord, policies that led some to call him the most pro-Israeli US president in history. Toward the end of his term, Trump was slow to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. He downplayed the threat, ignored and failed to heed many recommendations from health officials, and promoted misinformation about unproven treatments and the availability of testing. In 1977, Trump married Czech model Ivana Zelenková. They have 3 children: Donald J.R.B., born 1977, Ivanka, born 1981, and Eric, born 1984, and 10 grandchildren. Ivana became a naturalized United States citizen in 1988. The couple divorced in 1992, following Trump's affair with actress Marla Maples. 35 Maples and Trump married in 1993 and had a daughter, Tiffany, born 1993. They divorced in 1999, and Tiffany was raised by Marla in California. In 2005, Trump married Slovenian model Melania Nos. They have a son, Baron, born 2006. Melania became a naturalized United States citizen in 2006. Trump is a teetotaler. He says he has never smoked cigarettes or marijuana. Trump enjoys fast food and French cuisine. He says he likes to sleep 3 to 4 hours a night. Trump has called golf his main sport. Although he does not usually walk the course, he considers exercise a waste of energy, believing that the body is like a battery, with a finite amount of energy that is depleted by exercise. Trump was hospitalized with COVID-19 on October 2, 2020, and treated with the antiviral drug remdesivir, the steroid dexamethasone, and an unapproved experimental antibody drug from Regeneron. He was discharged on October 5. In 1982, Trump was listed on Forbes' first list of wealthy individuals, with his family's estimated net worth at $200 million. By the time Trump graduated from college, his net worth was estimated at $200,000 in 2016 dollars. In 2001, Donald Trump completed Trump World Tower, a 72-story residential skyscraper across from the United Nations headquarters. In 2015, Forbes estimated Trump's net worth at $4 billion. Trump Tower, a 58-story mixed-use building located at 725 Fifth Avenue, Midtown Manhattan, New York City, was developed by Trump and Equitable Life Insurance Company. Designed by architects Der Scut of Swank Hayden Connell. Trump is currently the sole owner of the building. In the entertainment world, Trump has been nominated for 2 Emmy Awards, appearing in television shows and movies as himself, but in comedic roles. He has been the subject of numerous comedians, cartoonists, and online cartoonists. Trump also has his own radio talk show called Trumped. He also appeared as a guest star on an episode of Sex and the City. Trump is also a member of the Screen Actors Guild and receives an annual pension of more than $110,000. Trump is a fan of World Wrestling Entertainment and is friends with WWE owner Vince McMahon. Trump was an early supporter of Republican candidate Ronald Reagan for President of the United States. And he also voiced his support for Republican candidate Mitt Romney for president. When asked in 2015 who was the best of recent presidents, Trump chose Democrat Bill Clinton over Republicans George W. Bush and George W. Bush. The Clinton Foundation has received between $100,000 and $250,000 from Trump, and also attended Trump's wedding in 2005. In 2008, Trump wrote that Hillary Clinton would make a great president or vice president. During his first campaign rally in Derry, New Hampshire, Trump asserted that if he were elected, on day 1 of my presidency, illegal immigrants will be out of here and out of here fast. Trump opposes birthright citizenship, arguing that it is not and should not be protected by the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Trump has said that global warming is a total hoax. He has also said that the concept of global warming was created by China, for China, to make American manufacturing uncompetitive, although he later clarified that this was a joke. He said that the EPA is an obstacle to growth and jobs. Trump supports shale oil development and criticizes wind power, saying that wind turbines destroy every piece of countryside they go into while producing unreliable and terrible energy. Finally, the American people have elected their 47th president, Donald Trump. With a spectacular victory over Kamala Harris, Donald Trump became the second US president to be elected for 2 non-consecutive terms, after the first one was Stephen Grover Cleveland, 132 years ago. Donald Trump is the man who returned to the top of the American throne after facing criminal charges that were still pending when he was elected. The signs were quite clear just days before the vote. A large percentage of voters, 74%, in an ABC or Ipsos poll conducted on November 3rd, just 2 days before the vote, said that America was on the wrong track. This was the key factor that helped Donald Trump defeat Kamala Harris. Since 1980, the percentage of voters who think America is going in the wrong direction has been a surefire predictor of a potential White House loss for the current administration. Kamala Harris is simply responsible for what the Biden administration has done over the past 4 years. But of course, it was not the war in Ukraine, not China's rise in the international market, nor how to save the Palestinians who are suffering daily in the Gaza Strip from Israeli attacks. That was the main factor leading to the decision of American voters to bet their future for the next 4 years on Mr. Trump. American voters are, first and foremost, concerned about jobs, how prices affect their family's dinner table each night, their children's opportunities in an increasingly expensive education, and whether a health care system can afford to care for those left behind. The anxiety of American voters about the difficulties in their daily lives has been a fundamental factor influencing their decisions at the ballot box. Despite the statistics on low price increases only 2.1% in September compared to the same period last year, the economic growth rate in the first quarter of 2024 reached an optimistic level 2.8. In a poll organized by the New York Times and Siena College in October, up to 75% of respondents still said that the US economy is in bad shape. Donald Trump's victory was partly due to his extremely effective use of the strategic card, the immigration issue. In his first term, Donald Trump overcame Hillary Clinton by building a real metal fence on the southern border of the United States with Mexico. while also building an imaginary fence in the hearts of many American voters to counter the fear of immigrants taking jobs and causing crimes. In his second victory, Donald Trump continued to exploit this theme successfully, giving many American voters the impression that they are surrounded by immigrants right on American soil. In a poll conducted by the New York Times and Siena College before the election, 15% of respondents said that the immigration issue had a decisive influence on their vote on November 5th. Ultimately, Donald Trump's victory shows that the political and social climate in the United States is not ready for a woman to run the country. One of Donald Trump's 3 presidential defeats was to a man, Joe Biden, while his 2 victories were to 2 women, Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris. There has been no serious research showing that the reason for Mr. Trump's victory is directly related to the issue of gender, but a poll conducted by the New York Times and Siena College before the election day showed that Mr. Donald Trump was leading Miss Kamala Harris quite far among male voters, with a ratio of 55% compared to 41%. It's a significant gap that shows how disadvantaged Donald Trump's female opponents are in their contests with the 78-year-old who was able to talk non-stop for more than 100 minutes in the only televised debate with Kamala Harris in the United States and around the world. Trump's free-spirited, impromptu, sometimes shocking style of speaking also won over male voters, especially Black and Latino voters. Mr. Trump's first statements after being considered to have won showed that he seemed to follow the main lines, both domestically and internationally, to implement the policies that he had repeatedly told American voters. Economically, Mr. Trump and his team will certainly find ways to reduce and gradually strive to end inflation, a factor that he has repeatedly criticized personally against the candidate, President J. Biden, and Ms. K. Harris considers this to be the Achilles heel of the U.S. economy under Mr. J. Biden. It is likely that Mr. Trump will also take a tougher stance on immigration, a central theme of his election campaign. Closing the border with Mexico and implementing a policy of rounding up and deporting undocumented immigrants are among the things that Mr. Trump will do in the next 4 years. In foreign affairs, the United States is likely to return to a new form of isolationism. As his first term showed, Mr. Trump made no secret of his skepticism about NATO's raison d'etre, even threatening to withdraw the United States from the military organization. In his new term, Mr. Trump may not express his views on NATO, and it remains to be seen how Trump will deliver on his promises to voters. But his pledge to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict within a day should be seen as a statement designed to attract voters to support him in a specific election. It is difficult to make predictions or inferences about the direction America will take after Donald Trump is re-elected president. But it is certain that America will be very different from what it was before Donald Trump became president. The former US president's policy proposals are expected to strengthen the USD, but will drag down global GDP growth and trade. On November 5, the presidential election will take place in the United States. This year, the results are considered difficult to predict, as the 2 Republican and Democratic candidates, Mr. Donald Trump and Ms. Kamala Harris, are in a close. Both are committed to boosting the US economy, but Ms. Harris wants to do this through small changes, such as increasing tax breaks for parents, raising the minimum wage, building more affordable housing, and boosting small business lending. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump's policy proposals are considered more aggressive. They include deporting large numbers of immigrants, imposing high import tariffs, and reducing taxes for businesses and domestic citizens. If Trump is re-elected, these policies are predicted to have a major impact on global GDP, trade, and finance. During his campaign, the former US president proposed imposing a 10-20 tariff on imports from other countries, with China being the only country to impose a 60% tariff. This is much higher than the average 2% tariff currently applied to non-agricultural goods exported to the US, according to US government data. Because import tariffs would accelerate inflation, hurting American consumers as well as businesses that rely on imported raw materials and intermediate goods to make finished products. And globally, they could hurt overall economic growth, sparking retaliation from trading partners. Analysts are also concerned about the desire to impact the ability of the US Federal Reserve Fed to operate independently. The Fed's independence helps the USD maintain its position as the world's reserve currency, and the US government has the ability to borrow heavily by issuing low-interest bonds. Any attempt to weaken the Fed's independence would therefore likely shake global financial markets and destabilize the US dollar, the world's dominant trade and reserve currency. If the Fed were politically controlled, the rules of global finance would change, Obstfeld said. He said that the greenback currently has no good alternatives and that intervening in the Fed is a bad plan.